Your whole spiel is that the government isn't to be trusted. And then you're asking these same group of people to suddenly trust that this was all on the up and up.
He's dropping like a rock among independents.
This Epstein was in the past, and let's move forward. There's been justice.
Let's hop into a CNN panel covering some of the desperate distractions Trump is attempting to move focus away from the Epstein files in any way possible. So if you can, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. It lets us know you enjoy this kind of content. And let's get right to the panel.
This is the downside of the strategy that he has imported that got him elected. His entire strategy with the Epstein files was to try to give people the strong impression that this was Bill Clinton, this was Democrats, this was something that they were trying to hide. And now that this is all turned on him, he won't be able to convince his base that this is a transparent investigation at all. Like, I don't know what it would take for them to believe that there's no cover up. I mean, you've convinced a lot of these people. Part of your whole spiel is that the government isn't to be trusted. And then you're asking these same group of people to suddenly trust that this was all on the up and up.
And that's the one positive thing that I can take from all of this is all the conspiracy nonsense that MAGA has been peddling for the last decade is finally collapsing on them, or their leader at least. Many of them are still doing the conspiracy nonsense. Largely, they platformed this to point fingers at Democrats while the files were sealed, knowing that Democrats couldn't do anything about them being sealed. So you could just say, haha, Democrats hiding them. Them being sealed, it's not something either party could control. The DOJ has to do that. But I mean, the judiciary really, but they were unsealed at the start of this year. So then that excuse goes away. And we now have a definitive answer as one party is consistently pushing for their release. One party has put forth 5 amendments to force their release, and one party consistently votes against that. And it's Trump and Republicans who are covering it up. As we find out more and more about how close Trump is to Epstein, about how he knows his name are in these files, it becomes more and more obvious why they're doing it as well.
What's always interesting to me is like what it takes people to get off the Trump train. It's not the xenophobia, it's not the racism, it's not the bigotry, it is this.
But are they off the Trump train? I mean, I think this is the part of what Charlotte is saying that I'm not so sure. Because I think that they really don't want to be off the Trump train. They want to be on the Trump train. They just want Trump to get in line with them on this issue.
I think that's exactly right, Abby. Look, I think for Trump, it does feel a little bit like the lady doth protest a little too much, right? But when it comes to his approval rating with Republicans, it's basically as solid as it ever was. You know, you put it up on the graphic before where you saw the smallest decline was among Republicans. If you look at the average of polls, his approval rating with Republicans, still at about 90%. Of course, those same Republicans say they are dissatisfied with the amount of information that's been released so far. Everyone is dissatisfied with the amount of information that's been released so far with concern of the Epstein files.
Yeah, the difference is simple. It's just that Republicans are the only people in this country who don't care that their president is a PDF file covering up for other PDF files because, well, that won't make the Democrats look bad. And that's the only value that Republicans value, I should say, right? At this point, anyone still on the Trump train will forever be. And honestly, I think that anyone who voted for Trump in this election is still on the Trump train. There's just 2 groups of them at this point. One who are still willing to publicly support him because that's how into the cult they are. But then the other ones are still almost just as deep into the cult, but they realize like the optics of the situation. So they've like stepped back publicly. But then you know these people still are because anytime you say something about Trump, they'll still run defense for him. They'll still parrot his lies and propaganda about media and Democrats and all this. And they'll still buy all the other lies that he sold to them. But this one is where I put my foot down. Yeah, we believe you, buddy. But no, MAGA genuinely cares about the child trafficking, and they genuinely care about bigotry and racism and all of that. That's why they elected Trump.
He's dropping like a rock among independents in a way that I think any other politician would be like, oh, maybe something should it raise a red flag here in terms of what he's doing. And then the small shift among Republicans, 2%, according to this Gallup poll, not earth-shattering, but how much lower can he afford to go if he is cratering with independents?
Well, President Trump's very knowledgeable when it comes to polls. There's no doubt about it. He looks at them every day and knows what's going on. I'll be very sincere with you, Abby. I am from the standpoint of this case, this Epstein was in the past, and let's move forward. There's been justice.
But you have to remember, like, put yourself in MAGA shoes. They care about those people more because, I mean, yeah, you do have PDF files over here, but these people have a D by their name and are the color blue. So much bigger deal. They want to go after, like, these people want to go after Fauci legally when they really owe him a thank you for all the amazing work he did saving this country despite them calling for his head the entire time. They cheered on him going after Hillary. They want Obama now arrested and are posting about it, foaming at the mouth on X about this. All as they say, well, Epstein, it's not a big deal. Well, the Epstein, let's focus on other stuff. Like, who cares about Epstein? Trump's got bigger fish to fry, but him calling out Beyonce, Kamala Harris, and Obama, completely fine. A literal elite, right? Again, we just have to be clear about what MAGA pushed about this. MAGA said that there was this definitive list full of deep state PDF files, many of whom are Democrats and many of whom are littered throughout our government. But now, as MAGA comes to the realization, oh shit, we are the deep state. Oh shit, Republicans have always been the deep state. They're realizing, okay, we have to reverse course because this is only going to make us look bad. And it's just kind of hilarious to watch play out in real time.